All right, so we're going to look at constructing triangles in word problems as well as squares, so that way we can solve for triangles that are provided for us. So the first thing we're going to talk about is an equilateral triangle. And as we discovered yesterday when we talked about 30, 60, 90 triangles, the altitude bisects the vertex of an equilateral triangle, creating two 30, 60, 90 triangles. So if I drop an altitude down for an equilateral triangle, it's going to create a right angle. It is also going to bisect the sides, this side. So these two pieces are congruent. This was originally 60 degrees, which is how much all three corners. This is also 60 degrees and 60 degrees. But since it bisects the vertex, that means this piece is 30 degrees and 30 degrees. So I have a 30, 60, 90, which we know based off of our previous exploration of this subject, that creates a, across from your 30, we represent that with S. Across from your 60, we represent with S root 3. And across from your 90, we represent with 2 times S. So whenever we give you a problem that's kind of a word problem where you have to draw out your own equilateral triangle, this is going to help you solve, because it creates two congruent triangles. This side is also 2 times S. This side is also is also S. So you have two triangles that are identical if you just fold them in half. So let's look at an example for that. So it's a sketch a figure that is described and find the requested measure. So we have an equilateral triangle that has a side length of 10. Find the length of the triangle's altitude. So first we are going to draw an equilateral triangle. I'm going to use a nice pretty one that's provided for me. And I'm going to draw an altitude. So when I do that, that means I'm drawing straight down at a right angle. And when I draw that, I'm creating a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So I have 30 degrees here and 60 degrees over here. And it's just good to remember that that means we have S, S root 3, and 2 times S. The information provided tells us that the side length is 10 inches. If you don't remember this, equilateral triangles, all three sides are congruent to each other. So if the side over here is 10, then the side over here is also 10. So that tells me that 2 times S equals 10. Divided by 2, and S has to equal 5. So you take into account your 30, 60, 90 triangle. That's S, S root 3, 2 times S. Our S is 5, our 2 times S is 10. I'm looking for my altitude. My altitude is here. And that's S root 3. So S root 3 means I take that 5 and pluck a root 3 next to it. So 5 root 3 is the length in inches, is the altitude.